What makes the job of being a head at a small independent high school so challenging? And why is Bill's 20-year time as head a reason to celebrate? I offer my observations as a parent of 2 alums, an active trustee over that 20-year span, and now as board chair. Very few people have the multitude of skill sets, the energy, and the dedication to do this job. You have 6 different audiences that all want what they want, when they want it, and how they want it delivered. And you have to keep them all happy. And most challenging, you have to balance all their interests every day. If one group gets out of whack or feels left behind, it starts to spiral. The 6 groups are the parents, the students, the faculty, the staff, the alums, and the trustees. Now, how many of us have 6 audiences to deal with every day? And then just when you reach a balance point, something else happens out of the blue, and you have to start all over. Bill lived this every day for 20 years, and the school thrived. I close with one last observation on what defines Bill's tenure. He kept the focus on teaching, always on the teaching, not on test scores, building expansions, rankings, student awards. He always focused on the teaching. The number one job of the head is to hire the faculty. And over 20 years, he hired a faculty beyond superlative. And they stayed, many for 20 years or more. And I have to add that Bill was always humble. He did not brag or focus attention on himself. So Bill, you're leaving on top, and you deserve the thanks you will hear today.
My dear Bill, I'd like to say a few words to celebrate your glorious tenure at Commonwealth, including 21 years as headmaster. 21 years.
One of my favorite memories of Bill was when he took it upon himself to hold a private graduation for my daughter, who wasn't able to attend Commonwealth graduation on account of the fact that she was coxing a boat that went to nationals and was in Sarasota, Florida during graduation. So Bill held his own graduation ceremony in his beautiful Harry Potter-like office.
Our freshman year parent-teacher conference, when you had Nick as a student, there was a moment there that really brought home to us that you live up to the highest standard of Commonwealth's commitment to know and to love our son, Nick, in this case, as he was and as he could become.
I met Bill almost 20 years ago to interview for a job as a chemistry teacher. Bill wanted to know about this patent I'd published. And I think that sort of is Bill. He has been the intellectual leader of this school for 20 plus years.
I've dropped past Bill's office just to ask a quick question about something, usually sort of boring logistics. And my recollection is that every single one of these conversations has turned into a conversation about Herodotus. It is so impressive that someone who has to spend most of each day thinking about the school's financial well-being and just kind of making sure everything keeps working is still able to remember that he loves Herodotus.
My fondest memory of Bill Wharton, and I have many, is when Jen and I performed as E-Magic in an evening of magic and mermaids, a mermaid mixer at the end of Kyle's senior year. We asked Bill to perform in the opening illusion and appear from thin air. In the rehearsal that we did, 10 minutes before the performance, Bill performed admirably in the rehearsal, and then we turned to Bill and asked, Bill, do you want to run through that illusion again? He said, smiled, winked, I'm good. Bill was fabulous during the performance.
At the baseball game at Hancock, a grounder hit by an advisee of mine had connected with your jaw and one thing had led to another, and you needed a root canal. And it occurred to me at the time that a lesser person might have seemed a little resentful of this. But your sense of humor about it seems to me like one of the things that has made you a great head of school.
It was probably my second or third week on the job, and Rebecca and I had just been made aware of pretty serious issue having to do with the student, and we were both really upset and sort of ran into Bill's office, and he could tell that we were upset, and he sat us down on the couch and handed us both York peppermint patties, and that just made the issue much easier to deal with. So I really appreciated that from Bill as a boss and a human.
My favorite memory of Mr. Wharton is when he brought close to the entire school, as it seemed, to my first husband's funeral. Harry was a student at the school. He was just a freshman, just starting out. And it was an incredible moment of support and love and caring from the Commonwealth community in general and from Mr. Wharton in particular. And I will never forget it. Thank you, Mr. Wharton.
While it didn't seem possible that you could do a better job than you were already doing, I've witnessed your ever-increasing growth and talent over the years. You have guided the school through joys and challenges, serious crises that could have had potentially major repercussions. And to top it off, in your last year, you led the community through the COVID pandemic with skill and calm.
When I think about Bill's leadership, I think one of the pieces about it that has impressed me this year in particular is the vision that he has had to lead us through this, to help us figure out how to make it possible to bring our little tiny school together. I will be forever grateful for his leadership around that, and we are a stronger place for it.
You have made the most wonderful thing out of the Commonwealth School. You've picked a bevy of teachers that will support Jennifer and make the school a triumph.
There's no doubt that you will leave a great void in our group. But I also am convinced that your departure will not mean that we've seen the last of each other. All my best wishes to you, my friend.
I want to thank you for a fabulous education for Nick at a beautiful school led by a wonderful man.
Thank you so much for being the leader in creating such a nurturing and supportive community for all the students who attend Commonwealth.
Congratulations, Bill. Wishing you every happiness.
I wish you all the best as you make it your usually.
So thank you, Bill, for all your support and the entire Commonwealth School support. Without all of you, our life's journey would have been very different. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
I wish you and Denai and your family great happiness and tranquility in the years to come. Enjoy this new chapter of your life and enjoy your beautiful granddaughter.
Thank you, dearie. Thank you for having me on the board, and lots of love wherever you go.